What is going on, guys? I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Do have some updates for you guys within my collecting world journey, but today really we're starting out with some news, so we're going to jump straight into it. GameStop has announced that I think starting May 13th, they're going to be taking in, selling, doing trade-ins, giving store credit for Pokemon cards. Now, I don't know how big this is going to get. From what I understand, I think they're going to be rolling out with cheaper singles, like $1 holos and reverses, which is really, really smart because that stuff is way less likely to be counterfeited. And the margins for them would probably be huge in terms of buying a lot of that stuff for dirt cheap, or even doing what they typically do where, you know, you guys know, you go to GameStop, you trade in your game system, you're like, okay, I know this is at least worth, like, you know, I paid $250, $300 for it. They're going to give me at least 50 bucks. Maybe they'll give me that much. Anyways, I think it's going to be the same thing with Pokemon cards. I don't think people should be worried about this. I think it's great for people that just want to liquidate stuff and get some quick cash and they have a GameStop near them. I think the more places that are carrying Pokemon that have it available to trade, sell, buy, the better. Personally, I think it is in some ways a net positive. Do I think it'll work out in the long term? Do I think it'll affect GameStop and maybe even their share price when this, now that this news has been announced? Potentially. This is a good business strategy, in my opinion. You know, we've all talked about Pokemon becoming now a serious asset, an alternative asset, and GameStop, you know, has been on the forefront of these game companies that has been around for such a long time and stood the test of time. Almost, in my opinion, almost went bankrupt. I feel like we almost lost GameStop there for a minute. It was kind of, you know, it was going to be Blockbuster, essentially. And nope, they've stood the test of time. They've stuck around through the highs and the lows and the Pokemon pandemic and selling retail products. And now they're going to have this service. And I believe it is also going to be extended to graded cards. Now, I read somewhere online that they'll be buying grades 8 to 10. That's kind of interesting to me that they're going to basically be very specific. Like, their business model will be buying basically the cards that are only mint copies, basically, or near mint copies of cards. And I think, you know, there's room for plays to be made for everybody. You know, people going in there and buying a PSA 8 card with some trade-in credit they have from a collection they bought. Like, it's gonna maybe allow more streamlined trades and buying. And I think there's a misconception and maybe a misunderstanding that people are just gonna get really, really ripped off from GameStop adding this, you know, to their armory of services. I think that GameStop is really doing this to get people in the door again and get them to really activate memberships again. Membership doesn't cost anything. It's $15 a year. You get a pack every single month free. So literally after 3 months, you've paid for your membership if you can remember to go get your packs. You know, 12 months, 12 packs, with a value of at least $48, $4 a pack. And if we look back to Sword and Shield era, everything is Sword and Shield is booming right now. All the free hanger packs that I picked up from GameStop, which I pretty much always open the free ones I got. But if you were to save those up, you would actually profit on the membership just selling those packs today. But anyways, I think really they're just trying to get more people in the door. I personally have given up on going to GameStop. If I really need products right when something releases, I'll go to GameStop and pay a slight premium. But more than anything now, I am buying everything online. It is just, it makes the most sense, and it saves me time from running around and going to stores. Right now, you know, Aspen's getting older. She's going to be 3 soon. We've got another kid on the way. So I have to be as present here as possible. That means, you know, that means trying to squeeze in as much time with my family as possible. And if that means I'm buying everything online, then so be it. You know, the whole retail buying experience was fun for a little bit, but for the most part, I don't enjoy paying a premium for stuff in store and then still not getting anything out of my openings. Whereas at least if I'm buying a wholesale online and then I open it and I get absolutely nothing, at least I know that I still paid bottom dollar for those products that I'm opening. But yeah, I'm interested to hear what you guys think about this. This is huge news in my opinion. You know, I think it's a net good for the hobby. Like I said, overall, there are a lot of negative sides to this, right? There's going to be people, you know, I just glimpsed and saw Rattle's thumbnail right before making this video. And, you know, it said, watch out for counterfeiters or something like that. Yeah, there's going to be people trying to sell counterfeit products to GameStop. But in the same light, I think that there's equally going to be, you know, systems that GameStop is going to put into place to verify everything. They're not just going to roll this out on a whim, or maybe they are going to roll it out on a whim without a real strategy of pricing everything. People will just have to go online and look up pricing in store and sell to them. Or, yeah, maybe they'll look up market prices and then say, our thing is we do 60% of whatever TCG player or eBay last solds are. There was some stuff I read about PSA wanting to partner up with GameStop, which is very, very interesting. Very interesting. And then eBay as well wanting to partner up with GameStop. So this makes a lot of sense to me. I feel like, in my opinion, those feel like the big three. Now, you've got GameStop, PSA, and eBay. So I think, you know, maybe they could work something out where they all benefit and they can kind of set a standard. You know, I don't know how this is all going to work. I don't have all the information. I read that it's going to roll out on the 13th. I don't even know if my GameStop near me is going to roll this out, but I just wanted to let you guys know, and I wanted to hear what you guys thought about this. You know, in the past couple weeks, I've been trying to do multiple pieces of content that I can roll out through the week so I can spend more time with my family. But what I've learned is that the views are down and that the content won't be as relevant. And then I'm a day or 2 days behind when things actually happen. So I've gone back to my format now of just doing stuff right and when it happens. That way it can be as relevant as possible. And I still need to process and upload it. And other news, guys, on top of that, we have a mail day coming up. I've got some stuff in that I need to review because I also need to get a bunch of stuff listed on my Mercari, so I need to get that done soon. But in other news, I cracked my first slabs ever. I'm not sure if we'll add one of those videos into this video. Ready? Mm-hmm.
Careful with the card. That was close.
There we have it. Hold on, Phantom's Torkoal reverse going into the binder. We got a Crystal Nidoking here, and it is absolutely flawless. It has an awesome hollow orb effect on its horn, and the back is pretty much flawless. It's a really, really strong 9 that may regrade as a 10, but I would be happy with a 9 again. Right here is the issue. We've got 2 specks of dirt. It is driving me crazy. So I am literally cracking this open just to get those specks of dirt off. And hopefully they come off. I would have been unhappy regardless with the card in the long term. But here we go. Oh my God. This is so sketchy. It's outrageously sketchy. Okay. Woo! That flew. That absolutely flew. Okay, now this is the really sketchy part. We can't go back now. So, slab has been, at this point, pretty much destroyed. So there's no going back now. I just want to shimmy this under here. Be very, very careful. Oh no.
God.
We don't want that to start cracking. We do not want that to start cracking. Got to get this a little bit further in there before we start.
Oh, jeez.
Talk about sketchy. Okay.
Why don't you cut it on the other end?
On this end or down here?
No, top.
On this end?
Yeah.
We can try cutting the other end.
Jesus.
This poor Nidoking. If I wasn't so OCD. Let's go ahead and get this little cert out. Okay, at this point, it's just between me and this slab. Okay, I think at this point, it's almost safely out. And I just need to be really careful about how I'm getting the rest of this card out of here. I want to use my fingers at this point, but we still got to get this edge. Oh man, sketchy. And I definitely want to point this away. It literally looks like it cracked apart. What a cheap flathead. It looks like it literally, this slab versus my flathead. Oh my gosh. The stress level right now. I don't care how easy people say it is to crack slabs. When you really care about the card that you're cracking.
Did you just scratch it?
Not sure. Easily might have. Oh my god. Looks like it's just plastic and I just barely missed the card. Just so you guys can see how much of a terrible job I almost did. But I got these guys out of their slabs. These were both gifted to me, and I just wanted them raw. Magneton here was a 6, and Torkoal was a PSA 6, and then Torkoal was an AGS 5.5. This is the Torkoal reverse from Hold-On Phantoms that I just recently got gifted, and I'm going to put that in my stack. I am starting to save up just a random stack of vintage hollows again. I want to get back into doing that because I just love having tons of vintage hollows. But yeah, I had my first experience cracking open a slab and cracking open slabs. And then even bigger news, you guys may or may not remember my Crystal Nidoking. Now, I may or may not post the video in here, but I had a Crystal Nidoking in a PSA 9 that was pretty recently graded, and I did not grade it, but it had 2 specks of dirt at the top of the card. I may or may not put that in the video, but all this to say that I practiced on those 2, and that prepared me for the Nidoking, which is much more valuable, and I was much more nervous. Like, guys, I was sweating and had so much anxiety while I was cracking that slab. Like, honestly, there are so many things that can go wrong cracking a slab. I think a lot of people think it's like, oh, like, that's a piece of cake, but there are a lot of variables, and I easily could have destroyed my Nidoking trying to get that open. Now, did I do it under a little bit of pressure? Diana was recording me doing it, and I felt like that meant I had to do it faster and show how skilled I was at opening the slab. But in the future, if you ever are going to crack your slab, take your sweet time doing it. And I will ensure that that will almost guarantee that it goes way better than it could possibly go and be catastrophic if you try and rush it. I do want to say that we successfully got the card out. I thought that I damaged it, but it was undamaged. There were some plastic flakes on the card, so like I really thought that I damaged the card and kind of panicked. But since then, I've never done a PSA submission. I've always gone in with friends of mine, and I just decided, you know what? It's time. Orion's got to grow up as a collector and start doing his own submissions. Anyways, I paid a whopping $60 to send in my Nidoking Crystal back into PSA after I cleaned off the dirt specks, which I am so glad they were dirt specks and not like ink dots. But, well, it would have been kind of cool if they were ink dots, but I just opened the slab all on the notion that I was going to be able to get that dirt off. And I was. So the card is clean. I've sent it back into PSA. Maybe it even comes back a 10. It is the cleanest Crystal Nidoking I've ever seen. And I've looked at quite a lot of Crystal Nidokings. I've had a chance to trade my friends. I've had a chance to trade at conventions. I've had a chance to buy privately from people. Every single Crystal Nidoking that I've looked at was not up to my standard and up to the one that I had. So I just decided, instead of trying to sell my Crystal Nidoking, you know what? I cracked it, I cleaned it, and I'm sending it back in. And when I say cleaned, I just mean I wiped off the dust specks, and that was pretty much it. But yeah, I've sent that into PSA today. There should be about a 20-day turnaround time on that, maybe 30 days. And it's going to take about 5 days to get to PSA. Process is a little weird for PSA. And maybe I can talk about that in another video, but just the fact that you have to include these sheets and make sure that you cut out a little barcode, scan code to put on the side of the box. And then the fact that they don't populate a shipping label for you and they make you take the address, put it into another entity and print that label that way. Kind of annoying to me. I wish PSA would make it a little bit more streamlined to submit cards. But guys, I am just excited. I've sent off my first card, even though I know it was already a 9. There is that part of me that's very nervous that it's going to come back somehow as a PSA 8. You know, I'm not sure how that could possibly happen, and it would just go to show that there are very weird quality control standards and grading standards over at PSA. If it comes back as an 8 when it was already a modern graded 9, it was like a 7-something cert, so it was graded not too long ago. But I'm hoping it comes back as a 9 cert or a late 8 cert, and with that 9 grade back again, the way that I want it, encapsulated again, but without the dirt specs. Only people that are as OCD and ADD as me would do something like this, but I've been talking about it for the last year about what I was going to do with that Nidoking, and I just finally pulled the trigger. Another little collecting update for me was that I've decided to take down all of my nicer cards off of eBay. I just feel like, one, it's diluting the market. It makes it seem like there's more options than there actually are, when the reality is that I'm just putting them up for show and don't really intend to sell them. Although if someone did buy them for the prices I listed, I would have sold them and I would have honored those prices. But I just realized with all the offers coming in, it was time to probably take those cards down because someone was probably going to buy them soon. And I really just wanted to showcase my nicer, higher end cards on the eBay store, but realize now that I would rather just have those cards than stress about trying to sell them and find another pair. I am not really a flipper. I'm really a collector at heart. So I knew that was the right decision for me. And I took down my BGS Rayquaza after many messages on that card. I just decided that, you know what, if I buy a PSA Gold Star 9 Rayquaza, I'm going to buy another Rayquaza, and I'm just going to keep the BGS Rayquaza. I like it for its own reasons. I've thought about cracking it and sending it to PSA. After cracking the Nidoking yesterday, I've decided that I'm not going to do that. It is not worth the amount of risk. It is such a beautiful card. It is encased. It looks good. The Beckett label, the Beckett cert, looks good with the color of the card, so I'm just leaving that alone. But yeah, just wanted to give you guys an update. I have something huge coming down the pipeline. I have one of my biggest announcements coming down the pipeline. It is going to be the peak probably of my collecting career. There are so many cards that I would love to collect, but I've got one coming, I hope coming. I'm pretty sure everything is going to work as planned. But yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know there's some big things coming. And yeah, we've got a mail day. I'll be doing that soon. I ordered a ton of graded guards also. I think I told you guys about this. But I ordered a ton of graded guards. I bought them secondhand on eBay as large lots so that I could get them at like $5, $6 a guard because they go for around 10. So I'm really excited about that. I'm excited. My Instagram is starting to grow. That's another little update. Starting to gain followers. You know, Diana pushed me to do the Instagram and is helping out with it. And I think that it was a net positive. I do think that there will be some crossover from the Instagram and my YouTube, both people going to the Instagram and people from the Instagram going to the YouTube. So I'm excited for that. And also that will allow me to showcase all of my higher end, nicer cards on there, but also just take photos and post cards that I feel like posting, right? Like at the end of the day, like I don't necessarily want it to be an Instagram page where it's just like, look at all the expensive, nice cards I have. We're seeing a lot of that on Instagram with profiles. And I'm not going to name names because nothing against them. I mean, it looks very well coordinated when you see all these perfect cards and they've got nice scans and nice backgrounds. It looks great, but it kind of brings into question, like, are the people that are doing, you know, Instagram accounts, is it really just another form of gatekeeping where we're showing that, like, you know, a lot of collectors are gravitating towards the same things, and it's good. It shows that there's a popular consensus that cards like Crystals, Gold Stars, first edition base set, first edition Shinings, it shows that a lot of those cards are very popular and have, you know, kind of become the gold standard. But it feels like it's a little bit gatekept. Like, everybody is just like, these are the only cards that matter, and I want, you know, our Instagram to be kind of random backgrounds, I sound like a straight redneck there, tapping into my inner redneck. You know, I wanted to show like different backgrounds, different products, stuff that's not that hype, stuff that people don't really talk about. I want the Instagram to show that more than just like the hype beast environment that we see on Instagram with like higher end collectors showing only the highest end cards. Yes, that's cool, but not everybody can relate with that. And I don't want to be one of those accounts where people are like in awe over, but also can't relate to. I want it to be something cool that people can learn from and be like, wow, Ryan has a really diverse collection. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys. Again, the GameStop news is huge, and I'm really interested to hear what all you guys think about that. Is this going to be bad for the hobby? Is it going to be good for the hobby? And, you know, what questions do we have in the community about this? Like, what are the comps going to be like? What are the trade-ins going to be like? Are they going to be giving 90% of comp if it's store credit, which would be very interesting and would be a game changer? Or are they going to stick to their old business model of basically just giving people the bare minimum? You know, I don't want to say ripping people off, because at the end of the day, GameStop is a business, and it is a corporate one that is predicated off of, you know, getting really good deals so that they can pass on some sort of savings secondhand. But with trading cards, they better watch out. This is a pretty big community, and I wouldn't be surprised if the community condemned GameStop for certain pricing behavior. So this will be interesting to see, and I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about it. Anyways, peace out, guys. Have a fantastic day. Thank you for watching, as always.